So we need to see how to get a fly machine to run some user code. This JavaScript we're seeing here in front of us is going to do just that. Now it makes some assumptions. It assumes the user code is going to be provided as a module that this can load in. That module is going to be in the package directory, and in that package directory is an index.mjs file, which provides a function or closure or whatever that our JavaScript here can run. It'll run it, get the result, and console.log that result. The user code can do basically anything. So we need to do two things. The first is to build this into a Docker image that a fly machine can run. And the second thing is for that fly machine to have a way to get the user code to run, right? That package directory with the index.mjs file within it. So I'll cover the first point there here. We are going to build a Docker image, as you might expect, because we need a Docker image to run in a fly machine. We're going to use the official Node image. I'm just going to choose Node version 18 here. You can make that dynamic or do whatever you want in your case, or have multiple images, one per Node version, whatever makes sense for you. We're going to make a working directory of user source app. So our code is all going to live inside of user source app, which is just a directory I chose from an example from Docker's documentation, I think. And then we copy in our packages.json file. Now our code doesn't actually have any dependencies, so this doesn't really matter, but just to show you how it's done, copy package.json and package lock, and then run npm ci to get our dependencies without the dev dependencies defined. Then copy the rest of the code base and then create an Entrypoint script that can get run. So our Docker image is always going to run this Entrypoint script first. It's going to run the script and any commands we pass to the image, to the Docker image, which in turn becomes a virtual machine image. Any commands we pass get passed into this Entrypoint script as well. So the Entrypoint script in this case is going to do the heavy lifting, right? Here we just provided our code base into a Node container that has Node version 18 in it, and our code is in it now. But we also need our Entrypoint script to do something with it, right? So anytime our virtual machine, our fly machine spins up, it's going to run this Entrypoint script, and it's going to do a few things. It's going to look for package.zip in the working directory. And then if it finds it, it's going to unzip it and cd into it and then install its dependencies. Now, I have some user code. My user code example we're going to use here has some npm dependencies, the S3 API, in this case, the AWS S3 API. And I'm not packaging that up. The Node modules makes that too big to package up for the exact way that I'm going to use, do it, which involves using a feature of the Fly Machines API. So I opted to not include the Node modules directory in our package.zip file, which packages up our user code. And so I'll just run npm ci here when we spin up our machine to get the dependencies that way. All right, so that's done. And then it just executes node index.js by default if we don't pass anything else to it. And that will run our program that runs our user code. If we do pass a command to it, that'll execute that command instead, which is kind of boilerplate stuff to have in an Entrypoint script. But really, we're going to end up using the Entrypoint script to tell it to just run our index.js file, which is this file over here that we saw before. Okay, so that's the basic Docker setup. It's just going to use Node. It's going to get our code in there. Our code is going to assume there's some user code at that packages directory. And our Entrypoint script is going to unzip it if it finds it and get everything ready before running our code. And in turn, that will run the user code. So that's it for this. In the next video, let's see actually building this Docker image, pushing that up to fly, and then seeing how to run user code using the Machines API.